What are the top 10 albums in music chart history? There's a great website, tsort.info, that has collected a lot of chart data, and we're going to use that data to answer the question. So it's the world's music charts. We have provided a link here, and the data set that we're using is the top 3,000 albums in version 27.0010. So please note that we only speak of albums. This is not about singles or songs. So what are the top 10? Tension rising, and here they are. We see that the Beatles are at the top with Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, followed by Michael Jackson's Thriller, and already at number 3 is the next Beatles album, in Abbey Road. The Beatles even make a third entry in the top 10. They are the only band or artist with more than one entry. At number 9 we have the White Album. The chart on the right displays years and total score, and the large empty space in the middle illustrates very well that Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band and Thriller by Michael Jackson are far ahead of all the other albums. The top 10 are completed by U2, The Joshua Tree, that's the youngest entry, dating from 1987. Then we have Saturday Night Fever by the Bee Gees, The Dark Side of the Moon by Pink Floyd, Born in the USA by Bruce Springsteen, Rumours, Fleetwood Mac, the White Album we already mentioned, and at number 10 we have the Dire Straits' Brothers in Arms. Okay, but how about the bands? Which bands are the most successful in terms of albums in chart history? Not surprisingly, the Beatles will be at number 1, seeing what they did here in the albums charts. So if we look at the left side, we have the Beatles at number 1 with the highest score for their albums in the top 3,000. The Rolling Stones are at number 2, and this might be a bit surprising because they were not in the top 10 albums. If you look at the chart on the right, we asked a different question, not about total scores, but about how many albums in the top 3,000 the artists entered, and the Rolling Stones are top here. So this is the reward for their long creative period of several decades. They have 37 albums in the top 3,000. Going back to the left, score-wise, we have U2 at number 3. They're not in the top 10 in terms of numbers of albums, but score-wise they are. Then Madonna at 4, Bruce Springsteen at 5, Bob Dylan, winner of the Nobel Prize for Literature, number 6, then Elton John, Pink Floyd, Michael Jackson, and Led Zeppelin. So we see that scores and numbers of albums yield somewhat different rankings. And now we want to see how the order of artists changes over different regions. The tsort.info data offers 4 regions. The regions are top left, the US, top right, other English-speaking countries, bottom left, the rest of non-English-speaking Europe, and bottom right, the rest of the world. If we look at the top row, the English-speaking world, then we see that the Beatles rule there in both charts. The Stones are second in the US, fourth only in the other English-speaking countries, and second again in non-English-speaking Europe at the bottom left. We see that U2 is placed very well outside the US, second in the other English-speaking countries, and third in non-English-speaking Europe. Maybe noteworthy also that Bob Dylan makes it to number 3 in the US, but fails to make the top 10 in any other region. Pink Floyd we have very consistently at number 8 in the US, at number 8 in the other English-speaking countries, and also at number 8 in non-English-speaking Europe. Noteworthy also maybe when we look at the rest of the world, the order is quite different there. We have Mariah Carey at the top, who is not in the top 10 in the other regions, and also Guns N' Roses, Backstreet Boys, Metallica, Phil Collins, and Aerosmith are only in the top 10 in the rest of the world, but not in the English-speaking countries, and also not in non-English-speaking Europe. So everybody might pick their favorite here in the rankings. And I would like to follow up with a bit more information about the data that we used. The website tsort.info collected data of more than 75,000 albums from 91 album charts. Timing starts just before the 1950s. And please note that the scoring works especially well for charts that are older than 10 years. If you're more interested in newer charts after the year 2000, then this website chart2000.com is recommended. Well, that was it. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a nice day. Bye-bye.